Hi, this is Paul, Golden Gate Enterprises here. We're with the team here, the installation team, the motley crew, but more importantly, we have Rick from Champion Generators, and he's on tour, and with all the business and all the power outages, wanted everybody to get a look at a Champion whole house backup generator. So let me go through a few things, and I'm going to have Rick point out a few things with you. So people always want to know what these darn things look like. Well, you're looking at it. So it's not that big. It's kind of like an air conditioner unit outside. It comes mounted on, you know, a wood frame when it gets delivered, and this unit's about 4 feet wide, correct? And so it's pretty small, and you can see this in the back of a pickup truck. Not that it's going to be there, but we're giving you an idea of what it looks like however it gets delivered. And the way you get inside this, can you open that up, Rick, here? So you're looking at the inside guts, nice and clean, high tech, and maybe just at a high level, you want to walk through this, Rick, what we're looking at here as far as, you know, the dipsticks here, what's here, and what the controls are, so people get an idea of what's here. I don't want to overwhelm anybody. It's pretty easy. You usually don't even need to touch this stuff, but just do a quick walkthrough.
Yeah, simple stuff. We have a 24-volt starting system, 2 batteries running series, make us the best starting unit.
So these are the batteries that power the motor to start the generator automatically, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct. These are our control modules. This one on the left here is monitoring the power coming in from the city, tells the engine to start. This is our engine control module that goes through if there's any faults or anything on the generator. You'll get a red light here that tells you what the problem is. Then you can come out and reset that fault if it's low batteries, high oil pressure, high oil temperature, low battery levels, telling you to change your batteries.
For a consumer that owns a whole house backup generator, what do they have to mess with on a regular basis?
Typically nothing. The generator is fully 100% autonomous. Battery charger here is monitoring the batteries 24/7, charging them as necessary when the batteries do get low.
And tell us how this thing does a self-check. It automatically starts up.
Yeah, 7 days from the moment that you touch this button. It's going to start every 7 days from then and run for 15 minutes. Then it has
and then what happens if it doesn't start up and do its deal?
Then again, it'll kick a fault on the engine controller here and tell you that there's some sort of problem of why it didn't run. And there's also a red light on the back of the unit that'll shine against the house, typically where you install it.
Yep.
That will, you know, alert the customer that they need to come out and take a look at this control module to figure out what's wrong with it.
So basically, once you push that hot button there, this thing does a self-check, and you'll be able to see if there's a problem with it, and this is the way that you know that it's always there and running. And let's go through this. What's that? That's oil dipstick?
Yeah, this is oil dipstick, how you check the oil. Comes out just like a car. Check the oil that way. This is where you change your oil. Typically, a consumer's not going to do this themselves, though. The dealer will do a maintenance package, come out once a year, or, you know, if there's a serious outage, come out and change your air filter, change your oil filter, you know, to make sure the unit's ready to go for the next power outage. So
let's go through this here, because people are trying to figure this whole thing out. Let's stick this to the whole concept of generators. So there's probably 500,000 people that pulled out their, you know, portable gas generators during all these PG&E outages, and now we have a whole new crop of people that are going, I'm not going through this again for all sorts of reasons. One, it doesn't give me enough power. Two, I'm not sitting out there at 3 in the morning pouring gas out of my 5-gallon jug and having it go half on me and half on the hot generator that was started up. So if you're in that camp, welcome to the club, and that's why people are looking at these whole house generators. These get permanently installed, and they hook up typically to natural gas. So that's the gas that comes into your house that keeps your hot water heater going, and if you've got a gas stove. And in the alternative, it can also be hooked up to LP gas, liquid propane, and we can talk about the pros and cons of those. For right now, we're just going to keep it simple and say hook up to the natural gas. So here's what happens when this whole thing is shut. Let's shut the lid on this thing if we could.
You don't want to start it?
Oh yeah, you want to go ahead and start it?
Yeah,
when
it's just once I shut it, I can't get to the controls.
Oh, I got it. Okay, so let's fire it up.
This is all here. This is hooked up to a propane.
And by the way, he's got over here in the back just a little 5-gallon barbecue propane tank for purposes of being able to demonstrate this on LP gas and also drive around in the pickup truck. So we're going to start it up. There you go. There's your generator. And this is a 14.5 kilowatt generator here. Matter of fact, I think I saw it. Yeah, right here. This is a 14 kW generator here. One of the nice things about the Champion units is there it is running, and I'm gonna come back over here. Oh, okay, you shut it off. I was going to show you how quiet it is when you step back on one side. But one of the nice things about the Champion generator is they basically, like the pizza, you get small, medium, and large. It's the same box, so it's the same size, the same guts, and the same, or the guts change, but it's the same frame size. So that's pretty nice. And then somewhere in the house, besides the generator that's going to get permanently installed, you need to have one of these switches that interfaces with the main electrical system in your house. And this box is either typically near the main meter next to your house, or maybe near the sub panel where you have all of your circuit breaker switches. So that's kind of what this whole thing looks like. And things that are important for installing this, and I'm going to give you a big asterisk on this, every municipality can be different and they can modify what I'm going to tell you. But typically this box needs to be minimum 5 feet from a property line, and that's for just zoning requirements for noise abatement and things like that. So when you're looking at where am I going to put one of these contraptions, it needs to be a minimum of 5 feet away from a property line typically. It also needs to be a minimum of 5 feet away from any movable window in the house, because there would be a risk of carbon monoxide. Remember, it's a engine in here that generates carbon monoxide, so you want to be minimum 5 feet away from any movable window. That's by code. And then when you put the unit down, you typically want to put it on a cement foundation. It can be put on other things, but let's just say cement from now. And then also you want to keep the back of the unit typically a minimum of 18 inches away from the house, and more commonly 2 or 3 feet, so you've got access behind it, because the service panel is in the back here. So once you have kind of met those criteria, you find a place where you can put it. It meets those 5 feet away from windows, 5 feet away from the property line. Now consider this. The things that need to hook up to this box are the two primary things. One, you need to run gas. So if you're using natural gas, you need to go to, you see in the corner of the house over there, it's hard to see, that's where the main gas meter comes in. Typically the most convenient place to hook up to the gas is at the gas meter. That's where you get the most amount of gas. So the closer this box is to the gas meter, the shorter the run that you have in hooking up the unit.
It must run off of the gas meter.
Right. So
you can't run it off a secondary source, like through a dryer hookup.
Right, it's got to be tapped in right off the main meter.
Correct.
So you want to locate the box ideally as close as possible, but sometimes that's not practical because it's in between your house and the neighbor's house and things like that. And the other set of wires or things that come out of the back of this box are the wires that go from here to either the main electrical box or to the sub panel, where we put in what is referred to as the transfer switch. So we won't get into the technicalities of this, but this is the magic box that goes in, and it's basically in between, if you want to call it, the generator and your main electrical service from PG&E, and it flip-flops over. So when the power drops out, the box automatically goes click click and it flips over the connections, so now it's got the power feed from the generator. And when the power kicks back on, it automatically flip-flops the other way, no longer takes the power from the generator, and PG&E is feeding your electrical system. So pretty simple concept, but it does take some work and effort, to get them installed. Plumbing, electrician, properly located on the property, and unfortunately and fortunately, it does require a set of plans and permits. You can't just go down there and pull an electrical permit. You need to go in with a plot plan, identify where the house is, where the generator is, with all those things.